Anza, you're live.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's almost afternoon, and what a brilliant start to the CxO InsurTech Summit 2022. As always, CxO Global Forum has put together a brilliant lineup of speakers who are not only domain experts, but those key thought leaders who are making a considerable mark in insurance and the InsurTech industry, not just in Pakistan, but globally. This panel discussion is of utmost importance because we know that in Pakistan, insurance has been around for decades. But what about the awareness bit? So, awareness about insurance in Pakistan, and how can technology play a role in that? In order to speak to us about this topic, we have with us today Mr. Asim Alam, he's the CEO of WebDoc, Mr. Rehan Butt, the CEO of MicroInsure, Mr. Adnan Waheed, the CFO of Alfala Insurance, Ms. Mariam Jamshed Khan, the CEO and founder of ISIL, and Mr. Rizwan Bukhari, the AGM at EFU. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an honor and a privilege that you're present with us today. My first question is going to be, insurance has been present in Pakistan for decades, like I said earlier. However, the general public does not fully understand its potential. Why do you think there's a dire need for awareness? And I'm going to have Mr. Rehan Butt give his perspective first.
Thanks, Anza, and thank you, CxO, for organizing this event. I think their efforts are commendable in this oft forgotten part of the financial industry. Insurance is, by the way, called the ugly duckling of financial industry, right? So rightly so, because whatever yeah, it's not very glamorous form of financial services. So look, I mean, I totally agree with your statement that insurance is actually insurance was present before Pakistan was created in this part of the world, and there were several dozen insurance companies operating, right? So we can say that we are celebrating 75 years of Pakistan, and we can safely say that insurance industry actually predates the creation of Pakistan, and yet there is a very low insurance penetration, so to say, right? Now, I would like to approach this issue from two perspectives, right? So one is that insurance actually is an outcome of something else, which is risk, right? So if people are aware of risk, then insurance becomes one of the various outcomes that comes afterwards. Are people aware of risks? It's human nature that people are aware of risks, and then they go for informal risk mitigation solutions. The family structure we have in this part of the world, I interact with, all of us interact with our colleagues and friends in the West. The way, I mean, in our families, we have our parents who are retired, and they still are the big bullies in the house, right? So they still are the ones who call the shots, right? It's not very common, it's not very imaginable in West. So they normally kids have their own household, and the folks, they manage their own stuff. So a person working today and raising his or her kids is actually paying insurance premium. And when they grow old, their children are supposed to take care. That's retirement insurance going, right? So it actually,
right.
And then we have, I mean, the way we support each other, the floods, the country is facing devastating floods, and the way people are contributing, they are not shying away. There are lots of campaigns going on. That's again a form of insurance. So that's one thing. So my perspective is that people are probably aware of risk and how to mitigate those. Yet the awareness about the formal tool we call insurance is lacking. So
right. Thank you, Mr. Ranbat. We'll hear more from you on the topic, but now I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Adnan Waheed to hear his introductory remarks.
Thank you, Anza, and thank you CxO. I really appreciate your efforts in promoting this, in fact, increasing the insurance awareness too. And the subject says that insurance awareness in Pakistan. And I'll stop here before I speak about the technology. That this subject is mother of all issues that the insurance industry is facing these days in Pakistan. Because insurance is considered as a game of large numbers. Unless there are large numbers who knows about insurance and who are willing to buy insurance products. Unless that happens, the insurance industry is not going to make decent profits. Insurance industry is not going to come up with innovative products and is not even going to attract quality talent pool for that matter. So, how to create this insurance awareness and who is responsible to create this insurance awareness? I'll share a brief stats with you about the insurance industry as on 31st December 2021. Since I was in a finance background, therefore I'll go with the numbers.
Recording in progress.
Right, the insurance industry as on 31st December 2021, their shareholder equity is around 100 billion and the gross premium return is also around 105 billion. And the underwriting profit, which is the premium minus claims, minus commission, minus expenses, that is the pure profit that an insurance business generates for the insurance companies, that is around 5 to 6 billion. So imagine a shareholder equity of 100 billion and 105 billion of gross premium return and underwriting profit of only 5 billion. That's only a tiny portion that an insurance company makes out of this insurance business. Then who is the biggest beneficiary of this whole system? I'll say that is the government of Pakistan because that collects around 20 billion of sales tax and the income tax from insured through insurance companies and income tax from insurance companies. So that is the role that the government of Pakistan has to play to create the awareness in the masses. There are two or three ways that the government can create awareness. As Hanbert has already said that insurance, probably almost all the population of Pakistan knows about the word insurance, right? So, how to create awareness? I think the one first step the government has taken, and really appreciate that, that is the introduction of Sehat and Saf card. With this issuance of card, now almost large part of majority of the population knows that how does the system works. They know that there is one insurance card which can they take from an insurance company and can go to different hospitals and get them certificate that is totally free of cost up to certain limits. So the government has done their part in case of health segment. Enough insurance awareness has been created. There has to be another goal in case of motor insurance, where they have to ensure that all the cars coming on the road should be insured, and at least there should be a blood money in case of road accident, which is currently 300, 400, 500,000. It should be increased to 5 million rupees, right? A human value should be assigned some value so that when the government announces that the blood money in case of any road accident will be 5 million, the whole of the population will rush to the insurance companies to buy the insurance before they put their car on the road. So
Right.
this thing, the government should create the large numbers who are interested to buy the insurance product. And one point I will further add before I leave the mic to you, and that is that there is a regulation of anti-money laundering which hinders the insurance companies from an easy onboarding of the clients. So, in case of personal lines insurance specifically, the premium ranges from a few hundreds to a few thousand rupees. So the government should waive off this condition because the money laundering only happens when the money is pumped into the system and is taken out of the system. So the government should waive off that in case of entry, in case of onboarding, there should be no KYC requirement. However, when a person, an individual makes a claim of more than 10 billion, then the insurance industry should make some sort of KYC requirement. So this will, make an onboarding easy. So with these three steps, the government can help us help the insurance industry creating insurance awareness.
Right. Mr. Anand made some very valid points made. I definitely agree with the one about the motor vehicle incidents because that law is now becoming draconian and we need to adapt to changing times. However, and I'm going to move to Mr. Asim at Web Talk for this particular area. I would like to hear your introductory remarks on the topic as well as the fact that Mr. Adnan Wahid had mentioned these in Sehat card, right? And for that as well, if you hear from the masses, they don't know what insurance is. They just think it's a Sehat health card because that's how we packaged it. Do you think, in the context of Pakistan, the awareness will probably come by labeling, these solutions as perhaps a health solution rather than, calling it insurance outright?
Thank you very much, Sheikh Global. Thank you very much, Anza. But I think Rehan Bhai and Adnan Saab has raised very valuable points. But I personally think there are two major points which we need to bring in for the why people are not insured about the why people are not aware about the insurance. So number one, certainly all our insurance today in Pakistan leave out micro insure, maybe WebDoc and another company Milwake, who are actually working in the rural areas through telcos and banks. All the other insurance, the mainstream insurance companies, they're actually working on what I mean. If I go to non-life insurance, probably 7 to 8 products. If I go to life insurance, probably 2 to 3 products. And this has been going on for what I mean, last 15, 20 years. How I mean, the mainstream insurance companies, how many new products or innovative products they've actually brought in? Very few. So I'm not blaming them because they are actually working, very urban centric sort of insurance. People who can afford it, who are living in the urban areas, only know about the insurance. And then there are some insurances which are mandatory, and like corporate health insurance, which is mandatory in many parts. Or there are some insurances which are against the value, like car insurance and stuff like that. Otherwise, 70 to 80% of Pakistanis, they're actually living either in the rural areas or in the semi-urban areas. They have no access to the insurance, and obviously the affordability of the insurance is much more lesser in those parts. And then, unfortunately, the insurance companies has to focus because of the profitability, which an answer just told is about 5 to 6% bottom line profit they have. So that 5 to 6% bottom line profit does not allow them to actually go to experiment new things into the rural areas. And this is where I think we got an opportunity. I mean, including the leaders like हमारे पास जो Rehan Bhai got an opportunity through Microinsure. I got an opportunity through WebDoc, and there are many other companies who are actually working on this. We got an opportunity to go to the rural areas and provide them the access. Basically, unless they got an access of, imagine,
Yeah.
a guy in Thatha or a guy in check number 233 Faisalabad, how can he get an insurance? I mean, take an example. Well, we for somehow from the Insaf card we have provided him the knowledge that insurance is required, but do he has an access to the insurance? Who would he go? I mean, where would he go? Who would provide him the
Yeah, there
insurance?
aren't any hospitals in those areas. There's no tertiary care hospitals. So your point is duly noted, and we'll talk about the technology aspect a little more. But
So
before that, I'd like to go to, sorry, go on.
yeah.
Is there something?
So I'm going to close very quickly on this. So the
Yeah.
access, I think this is one of the main important points that people don't have an access of the insurance, and plus we don't have much, creative products in the mainstream insurance companies. Mainstream insurance companies are working towards urban centric customers because they can afford it, and this is where their profitability is. And then obviously this is one main reason why people in Pakistan are 70, 80%, 90% people, or maybe penetration rate is only 1.5% yet. So all these people are unable to actually get to the insurance companies or the right insurance people to get their risk mitigated, right? So that's one part. Second part, you asked about the Sehat Insaf card. Now, Sehat Insaf card is probably one of the best initiatives for the public. However, the way it has been marketed, it is more of a political campaign than actually an insurance facility. So I think this is where probably governments and other institutions, the regulators basically needs to work on that this is an insurance. How many people actually knows that 10 lakh ke insurance mein how much risk you actually cover? Maybe a few people
Absolutely.
who know the insurance here. But if you dig deep out of it, I think it's 200,000 IPD cover only. So many people in Pakistan
Right.
don't even understand what's IPD cover, right? So for the
Absolutely.
shout of it, yes, 1 million rupees coverage is coming for the proper insurance के लिए अगर बात करें तो you literally a very less amount cover, but it's more of a political campaign than actually the health card health insurance card. So I think
Thank you, Mr. Hassan, for pointing that out, and it's a very bold move on your part. Thank you so much. But we will hear more from you about this in particular. But speaking about the narrative, Mr. Rizwan Bukhari, um, how have you seen the insurance sector evolve in the past 2 decades in Pakistan?
अस्सलाम वालेकुम मंजरा। सबसे पहले तो मैं आप लोगों का इस प्लेटफॉर्म का शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहूंगा कि आपने इनवाइट किया और उस पर कुछ बोलने का मौका दिया। आई एम वर्किंग एज अ हेड ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इन ईएफयू लाइफ। सो अंजा मैं थोड़ा सा यहाँ से स्टार्ट लूंगा कि जो इंश्योरेंस, सबसे पहले तो जो हमारा टॉपिक है अवेयरनेस, इंश्योरेंस अवेयरनेस, ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है जो कि पब्लिक को इंश्योरेंस के बारे में पता होना सबसे पहले तो जरूरी है कि जनरल इंश्योरेंस, लाइफ इंश्योरेंस है क्या, ताकि वो उसकी तरफ आ सकें। क्योंकि अगर आप पाकिस्तान से बाहर निकलते हैं तो लाइफ इंश्योरेंस या हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस के बगैर जो है लोग सोचते भी नहीं है जिंदगी। अगर आप बताते हैं उनको कि आई डोंट हैव अ लाइफ इंश्योरेंस या हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, तो लोग बड़ी हैरत से देखते हैं, अरे आपके पास मतलब इंश्योरेंस नहीं है तो आप जिंदगी कैसे गुजारेंगे। तो सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हमारे पास पेनिट्रेशन ही नहीं है इंश्योरेंस की। आपको आपको आप सब लोगों को, इंडस्ट्री के लोग हैं, सबको पता होगा कि लेस देन 1% जो है पेनिट्रेशन है इंश्योरेंस की, जो कि मतलब उससे ही पता चलता है कितना बड़ा गैप है इस वक्त, कितना बड़ा गैप इस वक्त जो है अवेलेबल है और उसको कितना हम मार्केट को टैप किया जा सकता है। लेकिन उसके लिए सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है अवेयरनेस। अवेयरनेस जो है वो किस तरीके से आ सकती है, वो डेफिनेटली उसमें हमें गवर्नमेंट की हेल्प की नीड है। प्राइवेट सेक्टर को चाहिए कि एक अलायंस बना के जो है हम उसकी जो है अवेयरनेस को किस तरीके से मजीद जो है वो एक जो आम पब्लिक होती है उस तक किस तरीके से पहुंचाया जा सकता है। एक बड़ी अच्छी, अभी मैंने कुछ अर्से पहले डॉक्टर अलवी साहब की एक वो देखी थी, 4 तारीख को उन्होंने एक अवेयरनेस एक सेशन किया था इस्लामाबाद में, तो उन्होंने बड़ी काफी अच्छी बातें की हैं। इस टाइप की हमें जो है सेशंस की बहुत ज्यादा नीड है, जिससे हम लोगों में अवेयरनेस पैदा कर सकते हैं। क्योंकि सबसे पहले लोगों को उसकी जो है इम्पोर्टेंस तो पता चले। आप जब इंश्योरेंस करने जाते हैं, आप किसी एसेट का इंश्योरेंस करते हैं, लाइक किसी कार का इंश्योरेंस करते हैं, तो आप उसका रिस्क को ट्रांसफर कर रहे होते हैं, क्योंकि आपके लिए वो एक वैल्यूएबल एसेट है। तो लाइफ इंश्योरेंस में भी आपके लिए जो एसेट है वो लाइफ है। क्योंकि देखें, आप इंश्योरेंस या आपको नीड किस तरीके से, किसी भी चीज के लिए आपको नीड किस तरीके से महसूस होती है। मैं लेट से कि मैं एक एग्जांपल ले लेता हूं कि बहुत ही एनवायरनमेंट है गर्मियों का, आप कहते हैं कि मुझे एसी खरीदना है, तो उसके लिए एक नीड क्रिएट होती है ना कि जी ये सर्कमस्टांस है, इसकी वजह से अब मैं ये चीज परचेज करने के लिए जाऊंगा। तो लाइफ के लिए लोग इस तरीके से सोचते नहीं है। और ये वो फैक्टर है, ये वो चीज है कि जब वो रिस्क अगर हो जाता है उसके बाद आप इसको खरीद नहीं सकते। मतलब ये वो वाली चीज है। तो इसके लिए हमको प्रोएक्टिव होना बड़ा जरूरी है कि हमें ये फ्यूचर के लिए लाइफ इंश्योरेंस परचेज करना जरूरी है, जिससे हम अपनी अपनी लाइफ को या अपनी जो फैमिली लाइफ है उसके लाइफ स्टाइल को जो है वो कंटिन्यू कर सकें। तो सॉरी, आप बोल रहे थे आसिम?
राइट,
जी
आप प्लीज कैरी ऑन।
जी। तो मेरा ख्याल है कि सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है अवेयरनेस, और अवेयरनेस जो है वो गवर्नमेंट और प्राइवेट सेक्टर दोनों मिलके जो है इसमें प्लानिंग कर सकते हैं और हम उसको पेनिट्रेट कर सकते हैं पब्लिक तक। अच्छा, जहां तक डिजिटल की बात है तो डेफिनेटली डेटा इज न्यू ऑयल, सबको पता है। तो हम ये बहुत एआई और ब्लॉकचेन और बहुत सारी टाइप की टेक्नोलॉजी है जिसके थ्रू हम जो है इसको बेहतर तरीके से पेनिट्रेट कर सकते हैं पब्लिक में। हम एआई के थ्रू डेटा चेक कर सकते हैं कि लाइक कौन से वो लोग हैं जिनको इंश्योरेंस की नीड है, लाइक वो कौन सी पब्लिक है जो लाइक मेडिकल हिस्ट्री से हमारे पास बहुत सारी चीजें निकल सकती हैं। इसी तरीके से बहुत सारे और सेक्टर हैं जिनके थ्रू हम इस चीज को जो है पेनिट्रेट कर सकते हैं। लेकिन उसके साथ साथ एक बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है जो हमारे मुल्क में इस वक्त जो डेटा है, हम डेटा जो है बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, लेकिन डेटा सिक्योरिटी उसके साथ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है। क्योंकि जो आपके पास किसी भी तरीके से पर्सनल डेटा किसी इंडिविजुअल का कलेक्ट हो रहा है, उसको हमें सिक्योर करना भी बहुत जरूरी है, तो ये मैं समझता हूँ कि वो चीजें हैं जिनके थ्रू हम जो है इंश्योरेंस को जो है एक आम पब्लिक तक पहुंचा सकते हैं और बता सकते हैं कि एक्चुअली लाइफ इंश्योरेंस की इम्पोर्टेंस जो है उसकी लाइफ में क्या नीड है। अच्छा, अभी मैं
Absolutely.
आसिम की बात सुन रहा था, तो आसिम एक्चुअली ऐसी बात नहीं है, बहुत सारी प्रोडक्ट, अगर मैं ये लाइफ के प्लेटफॉर्म से बात करता हूँ तो वी हैव मल्टीपल प्रोडक्ट्स जो कि हम डिफरेंट चैनल्स के थ्रू पिच कर रहे हैं। लाइक जो कि माइक्रो इंश्योरेंस से लेके और जो है मतलब लाइक स्मॉल अमाउंट से लेके और जो है एक काफी हैवी प्रीमियम तक वो अवेलेबल होती है, डिपेंड ऑन योर नीड एंड योर अफोर्डेबिलिटी। तो ईएफयू लाइफ मल्टीपल प्रोडक्ट्स लॉन्च कर रहा है, मल्टीपल जो है चैनल्स के थ्रू हम पिच कर रहे हैं इंश्योरेंस को। इनफैक्ट ईएफयू लाइफ जो है वो ऑनलाइन इंश्योरेंस भी ऑफर कर रहा है, क्योंकि अब जो
Right. Mr. Rizwan Bukhari, sorry to cut you off there, but I'm glad to hear of all this innovation. But in the interest of time, I'm going to, come back to you later. Miss Mariam Jamshed, Mr. Rizwan Bukhari did raise some very pertinent points. We also have to consider the fact that he raised an important point about technology contributing towards building this narrative for insurance, and especially for InsurTech. Where do you see the role of technology coming in?
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me on this platform. Yes, I have a technological background and I would like to speak in that perspective because I'm an artificial intelligence engineer and a data scientist. So, as far as awareness is concerned, digital marketing can play a great role in creating awareness because, it's the era of social media and everyone is more active on the social media, and especially the youth. And youth is our power, and youth is our future. And if they are aware of that, and if they know the benefits of that, then that would be a great, that would can play a great role in awareness of our next upcoming generation. So, in this perspective of technology, as insurance industry is revolutionizing around the world globally. So it's called a digital revolution and increasing the efficiency and minimizing the errors that is human related. When we talk about the risk and fraud detection, our artificial intelligence algorithms can play a great role better than the human intervention because they are more accurate, and they can also affect the risk assessments, and they can play the role for.
Right. I think we lost Miss Mariam there due to a poor connection. But moving on, again, some very pertinent points raised. Mr. Adnan Wahid, I'm going to come back to you for summing up this topic and your comments therein, especially in terms of what needs to be done now. Brief recommendations, but what needs to be done in terms of because you mentioned the current government policies. So please, if you could sum up your recommendations. You're on mute, sir. You're on mute.
All right, as I mentioned, that there are 2 or 3 recommendations that the government, on the part of the government, to increase the awareness. But now let's come to the, something that needs to be done by the insurance industry, and that with the help of technology. That I would like to first give a few stats of the digital literacy of the Pakistani nation. That at the moment, as per the PTA, the tele density is close to 90%. That is around 200 million mobile users, and out of that, around 115 mobile users have an access to the 3G and 4G internet access. And as per the statement of Pakistan, there are around closer to 15 million online banking users. And there are around 45 million cards in the form of debit card and the credit card which have been issued, and the people are using that. And as per the new financial inclusion strategy, the government has a target to reach to almost 65 million digital users in the overall financial sector. So with that kind of digital literacy, with that kind of ecosystem, definitely the insurance companies has to do a little more, to embrace the technology. And the insurance company has to do it on three ends probably. Number one is the claim settlement. For example, claims, the insurance industry usually pays a claim in the range of 35 to 40 billion per annum. That I'm talking about the general insurance industry only. 35 to 40 billion claims they settle on a yearly basis, out of which almost 15 billion claims are related to health and motor, which are mostly given to the individuals. But yet, the insurance industry has an impression that their claim settlement process is too complicated, is too cumbersome, is too difficult, and it takes a lot of time. So with this digital literacy, with this digital ecosystem, the insurance company has to find a way where they can have online portals and the customers can track and the progress of their claims. This is one front the insurance industry has to do. The second is the policy issuance, as Asim sir also said that it is at the moment it is only to the available to the urban population. So once the government takes the steps which is needed to give a legal cover to the blood money limits and to the compulsory motor insurance, there will be so much business generated that the insurance companies has to go to the policy issuance that is to be done digitally, because the traditional agent system cannot bear the pressure of this work. And even if you collaborate with the banks or the telco system, they charge you huge money, huge sums for commissions, and so is the agents. So the only, the savvy method to sell the insurance would be to go through B2C platforms, online portals, and different apps. And the third front that the insurance industry has to go for is to come up with the easy premium installments. While it is difficult for the insurance industry to give some installments, because the majority of the premium that we take from the insured is reinsured to the reinsurers, and the reinsurers don't offer us an installment. We have to pay upfront to the reinsurers within maybe 30 days, 30 45 days. So if the insurance companies can find a way to make a monthly installment of the premium, or if they can collaborate with different banking systems with their different credit cards, where the banks can pay us upfront and then the credit card recovers it from the person on monthly installment basis. So these three fronts, the insurance companies we should uh, we should pitch along with this technology and digital literacy to increase the awareness with the help of technology.
Right. Thank you so much for making those valid points, Mr. Nanvai. Now, moving on, Mr. Asim, I would like to hear your closing remarks, as well as, your opinion on the fact that more than 65% of the Pakistani population is under the age of 35 years. So, appealing to Gen Z and the millennials, what do we need to do differently? What innovation do we need to bring in?
Is that for me?
Yes,
Right.
sir, for you, Mr. Asim.
All right. So, no, absolutely agree with the points of all the colleagues here. But मैं वो पहले तो रिजवान से बताता हूँ. रिजवान साहब, there are few companies, including EFU, obviously, who are actually doing super work. And one of the reasons why they're doing super work is basically the guy sitting on the right of you, which is Rehan Barsa. Other companies who actually created this wonderful access to the rural areas, including WebDoc now for playing this part. So yes, certainly some companies are doing actually great, but when I talk about generic, then most of the companies actually are still, वो 7 से 8 products के ऊपर आज भी बैठे हुए हैं, और वही उनका 95% of the business, शायद ये भी आज 90% ही, तो वो मेन स्ट्रीम है. So this just to clarify the point. So Anza, I just want to ask you the question again because I just forgot.
So the fact that in Pakistan, more than 65% of the population is under the age of 35 years old. How do we have to package the insurance products differently now? How do we change the narrative? What innovation needs to be brought in? If you could quickly sum that up.
Yeah, I mean, we need to bring in personal and insurance, into our lives. People need to get aware that it is very important to get insurance on most of everything. So, for example, from their vehicles to their home insurance, even to their content insurance. So, take an example of this flood coming in Pakistan. Imagine if these people are actually insured for their content, home content, maybe for their homes, maybe for their lives, or maybe accidental insurances they have. So they most of these would have been covered, right? So the problem
Right.
is that in Pakistan, obviously, देखिए पाकिस्तान का फिनोमेना थोड़ा सा वेस्ट से डिफरेंट है. सबसे पहले तो हम लोग आज तक ये अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर सके what is insurance and why insurance is halal or haram. So
Yeah.
that's the very first. When we go into rural areas, people still believe that insurance is haram, and then this is where we have to bring in all the takaful insurances into play. So we have to first of all we have to tell people that insurance is very important to actually finance their risks. We're not doing something different. We are only trying to finance the risk of people on their small assets. Basically, this is what we're trying to do. So मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि awareness at the school level probably will change a lot of things. That in England, I know that people at the age of 10 knows about insurance. So people in
Absolutely.
Pakistan at the age of 22, they're just thinking what is insurance and why I'm doing haram work. So this is something. This is a mentality sort of an issue, and we need to resolve it for the fact that लोगों को awareness शुरू हो जाए from the young age. That's important. And then we have to personalize the insurance. Personalize the insurance, like few of the companies, including Hotels, taken steps of mobile insurance. So this is a very personal thing to everybody in Pakistan now. So something like this, personal health insurance on a micro level, which we are all trying to do, including the large scale companies also. So I think technology is going to play a very important role because technology, as the numbers just suggested, कि 200 million लोगों के पास phone sims हैं. Now, whether 150 million out of them actually have a data to a certain level and 70% of the people actually have a data to a certain level, वो इंश्योरेंस किसी ना किसी तरीके से एक्सेस कर सकते हैं, whether it's a टेलीकॉल के जरिए इंश्योरेंस एक्सेस कर रहे हैं or whether they are actually going on a data or all these new smart websites or apps they're getting this, all the aggregated sites जो हमारे पास लास्ट 2 साल 3 साल से आनी शुरू हो गई इसके थ्रू रहते हैं. तो बेसिकली प्रोवाइड I stick to the point. Once we start providing access to the people, that how they can actually purchase insurances, different insurances, and we have personalized insurance products. Last सबसे important बात जो हमेशा miss out कर देते हैं, and I think all these insurance companies they are doing fantastic work, but they don't have the mechanism to take the money out of them. So example ये है कि एक गरीब का किसान जो है, अगर वो क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस लेना भी चाहता है तो उसको पता नहीं है कि मैंने पैसे कैसे देने और इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को पता नहीं है कि मैंने पैसे कैसे लेने हैं. And this is where all this telcos and bank accounts and wallets they started about 3-4 years ago.
Absolutely.
तो अभी इसकी penetration time लगेगा लोगों को knowledge में भी. However, digital is the way to go, technology is the way to go, and then the problem is हम पाकिस्तान में technology सिर्फ ऐप को समझ लेते हैं या पाकिस्तान में technology सिर्फ वेबसाइट को समझ लेते हैं. So we don't, in Pakistan, we don't even know what's the difference between online and digital. However, I will say any medium it could be a telephone call, which can actually access to the people and then provide them the way to pay. That will actually change the things in a personalized insurance products. These are the three important parts. So
Right.
access
Thank you. Yeah.
and personalized insurance products.
Thank you so much, Mr. Asim. Definitely some very important points raised. Ms. Mariam Jamshed, we understand that you were traveling and the internet was unstable. If your connection is more stable now, I'd like you to quickly sum up your thoughts on the topic, please.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was talking about the digital revolution, and as you know that artificial intelligence and data science can be very much helpful, and we have such brilliant students and experts in Pakistan who can help in that for insurance as well. So where and how can technology be helpful? So this is the main question. And for that, I guess the main thing is risk assessment, as I was talking about that previously. So applicants and provided information undergoes the process. कि एक process चल रहा होता है कि applicant ने provide की कुछ information. So that one can be automated. और इसके अंदर human error का जो issue है, that could be mitigated or minimized. AI algorithms can be more accurate than humans, and they can never be dishonest. Pakistan के जो main issue है dishonesty भी कहीं कहीं आ जाती है. So technology can be helpful for that as well. So we can use machine learning and other things, algorithms related to that for risk assessment, and fraud detection is another major issue. So AI can also play a great role for fraud detection as well. Like आप लोगों ने सुना होगा Shift Technology, French startup है, उन लोगों ने 77 million claims के ऊपर काम किया, and most of them are successful because they were implementing the technology in that. So we should implement that in Pakistan as well. We should promote the startups. We should do funding for the startups working on fintech, insurance, and other things related to insurance and other technologies. So error prevention is another thing that could be mitigated using the technology. The middman examines the information between the carrier and the insurer. So that slows the process. People can get tired and bored, but machines can never get bored, in my opinion. So another thing that technology can be helpful is customer service. As we all know that good customers are the paramount. So bad customer service can reduce the amount of people buying your services. Chatbots can be helpful for that. AI tools can be very much helpful for that. Handling numerous queries without human intervention could be very, the automation could play a great role for that. So claim processing can be automated. We need to actually automate the whole process, not just the back office, the front office, whole processes. This is called the digital revolution, and that is much needed in Pakistan, and technology can play a great role for that. We have a lot of solutions for that, like our youth is full of brilliant minds. We can use their intellect, and we know such good people who can work for that, and we should provoke such people. We should support our youths. We should support our new startups who are working on that. So I think that that could be very much helpful for the insurance industry. That's
Right.
all my
Thank you so much, Ms. Mariam. Rizwan sir, we have little time left, but I would request you to sum up your brilliant thoughts on the topic. And while you're at it, if you can also please shed some light onto the fact, okay, just like the others mentioned, what are some of the other out of the box solutions or recommendations from your end?
जी थैंक यू सर. जी बिल्कुल. मैं कंटिन्यू जो है वहां से करूंगा जहाँ पे जो आसिम ने एक कुछ आइडियाज जो हैं वो प्रोवाइड किए थे, लाइक कि हम जो है बहुत सारे इस जो है मोबाइल यूजर्स हैं जिनके थ्रू हम ये मार्केटिंग अपनी स्ट्रेटेजी इस तरीके से पिच कर सकते हैं कि वहां तक जो है, क्योंकि देखिए इस वक्त तो जो सबसे जो कंफर्टेबल डिवाइस है वो ये मोबाइल ही है. अब जो जो जनरेशन है मिलीनियल की आपने बात करी, जेन जी की बात करी, तो अब वो न्यूज़पेपर नहीं पढ़ते, अब वो टीवी नहीं देखते. अब जो हमारे लिए सबसे जो इम्पोर्टेंट डिवाइस है वो ये मोबाइल फोन. तो सबसे बेहतर जो तरीका है वो हम इस अपनी इस टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज करते हुए वो जो एंड यूजर है हमारा, जो रूरल एरियाज में या फिर इस टाइप के एरियाज में बैठा हुआ है, जिसको ये पता ही नहीं है कि इंश्योरेंस एक्चुअली होता क्या है और उसका उसका बेनिफिट क्या है, वहां तक हम इस डिवाइस के थ्रू बहुत अच्छी अवेयरनेस जो है पिच कर सकते हैं, वहां तक लेके जा सकते हैं लोगों तक इसकी जो है रसाई. और उसमें जो पेमेंट का मैकेनिज्म की बात करी, बिल्कुल मैं बिल्कुल इसके साथ एग्री करूंगा आसिम की बात के साथ, बिल्कुल कि हम पेमेंट जो है वो इन वॉलेट्स के थ्रू बहुत अच्छे तरीके से मैनेज कर सकते हैं, जो कि हम कर भी रहे हैं. जैसा मेंशन किया आपने कि ईएफपी लाइफ जो है इन सब चीजों पे काम कर रही है, और हमारे साथ बहुत सारे टेलकोज जो हैं वो लिंक हो चुके हैं, और बहुत सारी ऐसी जो न्यू कंपनीज आ रही हैं जो कि इन वॉलेट्स को ऑफर कर रही हैं. ईएफपी लाइफ उनके साथ एसोसिएट होता जा रहा है, और हम उसको जो मैकेनिज्म है पेमेंट का उसको ईज से ईज करते जा रहे हैं. तो मेरा ख्याल है कि बिल्कुल राइट है, हमें अपनी जो स्ट्रेटेजी है, मार्केटिंग स्ट्रेटेजी, उसको जो है मोर डिजिटल करने की नीड है, मोर डिजिटली उसको इंट्रोड्यूस करने की नीड है उन यूजर तक जिनको लाइफ इंश्योरेंस के बारे में जो है बेहतर नॉलेज नहीं है. तो मैं इसको इसी तरीके से सम अप करूंगा कि हमें वही मैं आपके वापस टॉपिक पर आ जाता हूँ, तो जो आपने जो ये एक्चुअली टॉपिक है हमारा कि हमें अवेयरनेस को बेहतर करना है, देन जो ये इंश्योरेंस है वो बेहतर तरीके से जो है पिच किया जा सकता है पूरे पाकिस्तान के अंदर, क्योंकि जैसे हमारे जो लेट जो चेयरमैन थे रोशन अली भीमजी साहब, उनका कहना यही था जब ये कंपनी फॉर्म हो रही थी कि हम हमारा मकसद सिर्फ और सिर्फ जो है वो प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी नहीं है, हमारा मकसद जो है वो जो है इंसानियत को, ह्यूमैनिटी को सर्व करना है। लाइक क्योंकि जैसे हमारी इस रिस्क पे बात हुई थी, लाइफ इज अ वेरी जो है हाई रिस्क के अगर आपकी डेथ हो जाती है तो आपके जो पीछे आप जो विरसा छोड़ के जाते हैं उनका 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 गुजारा किस तरीके से होगा, उनका लाइफ स्टाइल किस तरीके से मेंटेन होगा। तो ये मेरा ख्याल है कि सिर्फ यही है कि हम टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज करते हुए इन सब चीजों को बेहतर तरीके से जो है वो आम एक जो आम पब्लिक है उस तक पहुंचा सकें।
Right. Thank you so much, sir. Sorry, we're just short on time, and I would love to hear the comments that Mr. Rehan Bhatt has to say. Sir, over to you.
Yeah, no, thanks. Wonderful, really thoughts from the colleagues, and there is really very little left for me. I will just make a couple of points. One is that these are like my recommendations for this forum, right? One is that let's not stick to the name, right? So I heard that probably this was from you that a lot of people got the Sehat Insaf card, but how many people know that this is insurance, right? That's not important. My understanding of operating with these clients is that they not necessarily understand the word insurance, but what is important that they accept this as a risk mitigation. I'll share a very brief story that one of our colleagues, one of our partners, they carried out a very interesting study in one of the African markets. They insured, let's say, 100 farms, right? And they gave them small policies, like one piece of paper. And they went to them and they said, did you get your insurance? They said, no, we got this piece of paper. A year later, some of them got the claims and they went to them and they said, did you get your insurance? They said, yeah, I got my insurance last month. So from those farmers' perspective, insurance means the claims, right? So similarly, how would if you are in a company which manufactures these washing powder, if you change this thing that why my washing powder is called surf, then you will be like waste of time, right? Let them call surf, and you're still producing your area, right? So my point is that that's not important. What's in the name, right? So let people call whatever they call it. My company is a direct beneficiary of two events which happened in tandem. One is COVID-19 that gave a lot of awareness about risk of health, and we grew 86% in 2021 compared to 2020. And we were profitable, probably the only profitable InsurTech not only, but one of the few in the world. Similarly, the other one was here in South Korea, right? So the government of Pakistan, the Prime Minister, I will not disagree with Asim's comments about politicizing it, which should not happen. But if your Prime Minister is promoting your insurance every other day on the TV, then whatever you want, right? So that's one thing. The need was there, that conversion to demand, and then those who were ready with their bags packed on the railway station, they picked the train. Now, the second thing is that, so we discussed the push strategy that government should, bring in some laws, make some mandatory insurance, etc., etc. That's all fine. We can actually put a chapter in. I like that idea from Asim, right? We put a chapter in school, right? That this is insurance, right? So or takaful, right? Let's call it takaful. And I will share a personal joke. He said that the people don't know about hair insurance in India. People know when they are even in their 20s. When I was starting insurance career, my mom said that you will not be able to find a decent girl if you go into insurance, because insurance at that time had a very negative perception. So
Yeah.
my point is that there's a need for pull as well. Pull, I just sum up what everyone just said. Pull comes from the following one sentence. You bring in a proposition which is relatable by the end user and which is easy to adopt, easy to understand, and easy to adapt. Ride-hailing companies have done that. Mobile money companies have done that. Smartphone manufacturers have done that. People like WhatsApp and Facebook, they have done that. If you create a proposition that's simple, relatable to the needs, and easy to adopt, easy to adopt means technology, right? So you create, one of our colleagues said that end-to-end technology, and I totally agree. I have written articles on this subject that it cannot be, if there are like four phases in this life cycle of the product, you cannot just acquire digitally and then take them to the same old legacy manual processes. It has to be end-to-end technology. So these are my two thoughts.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rehan Bhatt, for those considerable remarks. And I would like to extend my utmost gratitude for the panel today for making this discussion an absolute success. There was a lot of learning that came through this particular session. So please keep contributing to the knowledge economy. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you in the next session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.